I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back. Yo, I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all.
Good morning, everybody. This is D.E. Eliot, next to the amazing Chatty passenger, LoVetta Jenkins. I always want to say James.
He does. He always wants to tear my name up. Good morning, everybody. Listen, it is a Blackity Black on the books. And today we're going to be on the books about a couple, 2-3 things. I'm still high off of watching the Clark Sisters movie on Lifetime, so I'm definitely going to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to talk about other stuff, but that's on him.
I actually recorded it. I ain't watching.
Did you? Oh my God, listen.
I learned my lesson, from the New Edition movie. I ain't watching 100 commercials, man.
Listen to
30
me.
minutes of a movie.
So it's allegedly going to be available on Amazon Prime and such in a couple of hours. It might even be right now. I probably need to go and check. Let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm buying it. This is the kind of movie, and they told the real stories. This is the kind of movie that you can watch the same as you watch The Five Heartbeats, Jackson's A Family Dream, An American Dream. What else is that? Temptations. It's that kind of good. And there was some stuff in there I was like, but I'm not really surprised because I grew up in Church of God in Christ my whole entire life. So I knew some of the stuff, but I didn't really know because I was a kid and wasn't supposed to be ear hustling at the time. But honey, they put it all out there.
I'm actually surprised because, especially like looking at my Facebook timeline, to see so many people didn't even know who the Clark sisters were, and I was like, I think I'm at that
Clearly,
age now.
these people wasn't in church and didn't have patent leather shoes for Easter. Speaking of, happy Easter, everybody! Those of you who celebrate, it's Easter today.
And it's my brother's birthday. May
happy
rest
birthday
in
to his
peace.
brother. But let's just say that this is the first Easter that we've ever spent quarantined, and let it be the last one, Jesus, because we can't do this. However, if you're gonna be stuck in the house, watch the Clark Sisters movie. Oh my God! Now it was it was 2 hours and 33 minutes with the commercials. However, I loved it, but it was like 10 o'clock, and I was like, okay, this is over at 10:33. Like, what y'all gonna do? I need to see how y'all gonna end this. And it just felt like maybe the last 15 minutes was rushed, but honey, I enjoyed and savored all them other 2 hours and 50. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And I was on Twitter, and Black Twitter acts a certain way when we live tweeting our own stuff. So I was live tweeting like, ooh, child, always gonna be somebody acting up at the funeral. Like, yeah, Twitter was massively lit. And Anjanou Ellis did an amazing job personifying Dr. Manny Mars Clark. Everybody did a good job. And Kiara shocked me. I didn't think she could act, but she can. I was very stunned by everybody, but honey, Anjanou Ellis needs an Emmy for this. It was good.
Only thing I heard so far, because I didn't, like I said, I haven't watched it yet. I just heard the wigs came from Tyler Perry Productions.
Well, no, these was better than Tyler Perry wigs. Don't y'all blame my girls. These were better than Tyler Perry wigs. However, true to how they looked back then, this is what they
that is true. That is true. I mean,
on that one video, if I can find a still of it or something, I'll put it in here. And there's one video where they were at a big performance and they were singing "You Brought the Sunshine." They was doing that, and they did have horrible hair. It looked like somebody had pressed it, but then it had got hot, so it had like swole up. It looked like those wigs was looking.
Hey, did they mention that that song was played in Studio 52?
54, yeah.
Or 54.
I don't think they mentioned it in the movie, but I know they mentioned it on their Unsung, and everybody has been playing all this Clark Sister stuff all the time. But they did show, I knew, because I'm a church kid and I be knowing how stuff go, I knew that their father had been a little abusive, and that was shown in there. But then it brings up the fact that a lot of church kids see abuse going on in the home, and then everybody faking it outside. And this is why a lot of the younger generations are like, you know, we don't want to be bothered with church because we see all of y'all are faking, because we see what y'all doing at home. It's a bunch of, what I heard one of my friends say was, it was like a bunch of people learning to put on like fake smiles and everything, and just kind of carry on and being a hypocrite. And that's not really what you want to do if you're actually trying to live right. You just got to be right.
Yeah, but that's how it was, though. I mean,
it really was. It really
I
was.
mean, you know, my mom's a minister. My brother was a minister. Like, I mean, I grew up in the church, and it was a lot of faking the funk.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And then Denise got pregnant, and her mama was like, put the dress on anyway. These people don't know. Just come on, we'll deal with it later. And then she got pregnant again. And the one sister, I can't remember which one it was like, girl, you on baby number 3 out of wedlock, and you over here trying to cause problems for us. And I was like,
right. But hey, you know what though? That's the realest thing, because I went to a church where the minister was talking about, hey, we gotta love everybody in God, and this dude was banging everybody's wives. Like,
right. Now, I grew up in a church where my grandfather was the
more
pastor.
devils in the church.
Right. My grandfather was a pastor of my church, and surprise, me, kind of like almost everybody else's daughter, got pregnant, and I was not married. And he didn't show any favoritism. I didn't get none of the preferential treatment. I got what everybody else's daughter got, so that there wouldn't be any problems amongst the people. But he was just a fair man anyway. But I will say, growing up in the Church of God in Christ, just like the Clark sisters were, there is some serious patriarchy amongst the older men folk, where they don't want to see women in certain positions. Manny Mouse Clark got silenced for a little bit. They threatened to take away her position because she performed on the Grammys. They didn't want, back then, they did not want people performing in secular venues. They didn't want your music played on secular channels. Church music was supposed to be for church folk. But then Manny, she brought up a good point and was like, the Bible tells us to go out and compel the people to come in. How are we going to compel people to come in if we don't go out there? And I was like,
it's very interesting though, because I'm sitting there, everything you said, I'm like, not to bring up my book, but this is everything I was writing about on Son.
Right. I mean, Own Son. We can talk about Own Son real quick right here. Own Son has a lot of the patriarchy stuff when it came to the church parts of the book, and how men folk don't necessarily want to see women rise up. They don't necessarily want to see women as equals. They don't want women to be, I think her husband had said to her that ambition didn't look good on her. And I was like,
wow.
This was right before he shut the door and started beating on her. But I was like, ambition doesn't look good on her. But don't.
And I'm black, y'all. And I'm Blackity Black. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm Blackity Black.